And now it's time for Fabulous Film and Friends. This week on Fabulous Film and Friends, we're going to pay tribute to the late, great Robert Redford and analyze just why this Hollywood icon belonged on the top of Mount Olympus long before vanity, sanctimony, and crass commercialism ruined his artistry. In other words, before he tarnished his legacy with offensive tripe like The Legend of Bagger Vance, the execrable Indecent Proposal, and most especially by appearing as generic schmoe bad guy number 5 in the Marvel movies, he was literally the undisputed king of the Hollywood Hill, starting with 1969's Downhill Racer, directed by Michael Ritchie, co-starring Gene Hackman, Camilla Sparv, Kenneth Kirk, Jim McMullan, Walter Stroud, and Dabney Coleman in his ever-so-brief Dreamboat era. Then Redford was at his solid oakiest in 1972's Jeremiah Johnson, directed by Sydney Pollack and co-starring Will Geer, Delle Bolton, Josh Albee, Paul Benedict, Jack Covin, and Stefan Gierasch. And finally, he showed us all how paranoid thrillers were supposed to be done with 1975's 3 Days of the Condor, directed once again by Sydney Pollack and co-starring Faye Dunaway, Max von Sydow, John Houseman, and Cliff Robertson. I'm your host, Gino Caputi, and leading my dream team of scoffers and detractors is little sis Roseanne Caputi and photobug actor gadfly Alex Robertson. Alex, give me your best Max von Sydow telling us how it all works in life.
Here's how it will happen. You'll be out on a walk on a crisp autumn day, and a car will pull up, and someone you know, and possibly even trust, will open the door and say, "Have you listened to Fabulous Film and Friends?" And that's where it begins.
Fabulous. Fantastic, Alex. I felt like I really was sitting with Max von Sydow.
Which era?
Too many to count.
Going for Strange Brew.
Yeah.
Is Muppet Show era? Before we hit the trails on career highlights, the synopses. Downhill Racer. An arrogant young skier, David Chaplet, rockets to the top of the U.S. ski teams, heedlessly chasing medals without regard for his teammates or his coach, who tries without success to rein him in. In Jeremiah Johnson, a war-weary loner heads into the Rockies to live off the land and find peace. But the wilderness has other notions, transforming Jeremiah from naive pilgrim to legendary crow killer forged by experience and hardship. And in 3 Days of the Condor, mild-mannered CIA researcher Joe Turner, a.k.a. Condor, goes out for lunch and comes back to find everyone he works with dead. Suddenly, Condor finds himself hunted, running from his own agency and clinging to the one woman who might trust him. Can he unravel the truth before the deep state eats him alive? Why is Robert Redford considered the GOAT? Find out. All right, Alex.
Yes.
Are these three Redford's best, and how would you rank them?
I'm going to say yes. How would I rank them in terms of order? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I got to say Downhill Racer, because rewatching it was a revelation of what he could have done with his career. And
Whoa. I'm saying he did it with his career.
I'm saying he did it. But it was I don't know. It was a hard. It was. How do I put this? He hadn't become the Redford that we would eventually come to know. You know, there was still. He was still a hungry young actor, if that makes sense. You know, willing to go out on a limb with a character, like David. Is that it? Chaplet,
yeah.
Chaplet, yes, thank you. So I'm going to put that at number 1. Ooh, number 2 is a toughie. I think Jeremiah Johnson just edges out 3 Days of the Condor for me. But they're close. I mean, they're neck and neck.
Yeah, all three are neck and neck, but it's a tough one. They're three solidly great films.
Well, and I wouldn't say that the gap between all three is great, because they really do represent a titan of a talent.
Yeah.
His. I think his greatness is on display in all three movies. Certainly.
Yeah. No, for sure. As a scoffer and somebody who decided I didn't like Redford, I definitely was thinking, oh wait, I was wrong. He was awesome. Yeah.
He was.
Roseanne, same thing. Are these well, this is kind of stupid because you chose the films, so obviously these are the three best in your mind. But how do you rank them?
Let me just say though, he made movies before this that aren't that great. Like he's in The Chase, and he's in Barefoot in the Park, and he's in This Property is Condemned. And those don't feel like Redford movies either. So this feels like a guy who finally like knows his pitch and knows the strike zone, I guess. So I think the ranking is, and this is hard, and I said this before, but it just in the end comes down, because I think all three films are superlative, honestly, that it just comes down to preference. So Jeremiah Johnson is number one, Forever with a Bullet, and then 3 Days of the Condor, and then Downhill Racer.
This is nose to nose, but it's got to go Jeremiah Johnson, Downhill Racer, and 3 Days of the Condor for me. But Downhill Racer. So so what you said about his sort of strike zone, I definitely got a sense of, well, these three films really like David Chaplet. I see pieces of David Chaplet now looking, I forgot because I saw Downhill Racer on TV with Dad back in '82 and appreciated it, but didn't get it at all. Like appreciated that Robert Redford was playing a jerk, but didn't understand the movie whatsoever. It just seemed boring, and I didn't remember it. But I really do feel like pieces of Roy Hobbs are in there, and Gatsby's in there, and it just like whatever he's done feels like these three films. It's like they're all sort of this. Like if you look at Harrison Ford or any Humphrey Bogart, any movie star, when they find their strike zone, they bring that quality of whatever it is, and there it is with Robert Redford. He's enigmatic, he's silent, and he's virtuous, and he or even when he's not virtuous, he's still even when he's arrogant, it sort of feeds into like how he is as Roy Hobbs. Like he's not going to listen to the coach. It just seems like there's certain themes that run in his films that I'm going, oh, I never really thought about that before. But
I would say this is like the pyramid, the trifecta, and then you see bits and pieces of it throughout, even in good stuff like All the President's Men and things like this. I think you see parts of it, but these three, I would say, are the cornerstone of the best of Robert Redford, because in these three, he gives us that thing where it's just like these three movies, you see him as a fully formed man who is still capable of change. That's a pretty interesting perspective for an actor to be in.
Right.
I think it's interesting. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
Well, when you mentioned the Natural, how you can bookend Downhill Racer with The Natural, as if David Chaplet, in his youth, in his arrogance, has it all and throws it away and somehow discovers another sport, if that makes sense, but comes back 20, 30 years later, still a little bit of that edge to him, but the gift of some kind of insight, some kind of wisdom.
Yeah, except the focus of Redford's performances, and again, working with young Sydney Pollack and the other director, or a younger Sydney Pollack, I should say, makes these films like there is nothing about Robert Redford that seems like it should have an edge, and he does. Like he's not someone who we would automatically see as an outsider, like you see Dustin Hoffman, but that's what makes him so interesting and compelling to watch, I think, because these three characters become outsiders, and maybe the stakes are different, but pretty interesting. Whereas Roy Hobbs, it should have had more of the Downhill Racer vibe.
Yeah, it probably did. I wonder whose decision, whether it was Robert Redford's. I mean, we're not talking about The Natural, but I've always wondered who wanted to make this really downbeat novel into a mythic love letter to baseball. You know? I like The Natural,
Right.
and I've talked about it with George Young early on in the podcast. I like The Natural, and I appreciate it for what it is, but it's not the book. You know, it just isn't the
thank
book.
God.
Yeah,
but thank
and
goodness.
but I've always wondered,
Yeah,
is that
but
Robert Redford's
this
decision?
Robert Redford seems like he would have made that book.
Yeah.
He would have made that film.
Well, again, and I mentioned this, but I saw an interview with Robert Redford about Randy Newman's score, and he was like, "This is way too big," you know, and he just thought Randy Newman's score was just too big and pretentious and ponderous, and you know, he was obviously he's used to a Dave Grusin score, so it's just funny that you know, like, so you can just see like, yeah, what the hell's this? But he had to go like, oh, the audience loved it, so. Is that when he said, "Oh, damn all convention, I'm gonna do Indecent Proposal"? You know, starting with you, Randy Newman. You know?
Right, Randy Newman would ruin someone's career like that. Anyway,
Well, we've cracked the code. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Who knows? But again, Gatsby. There's just an element of that with the father. I just felt like, okay, it feels kind of like he has his niche, and its niche is these mysterious, quiet guys whose fathers don't have a thing to do with them. You know, it just felt like an interesting trajectory.
But
That's all.
I have a question. I mean, this has to do with his career trajectory up to this point, because like Jack Nicholson, I don't think Dustin Hoffman was one, but Harrison Ford, you mentioned him.
Yeah.
Those three guys were part of the studio system.
Yeah.
Back when they had the studio system, when these guys are hired on by whatever studio and they're paid a monthly salary and a stipend, you know, and they take their elocution classes and they do the photo shoots, you know, anything to, you know, they're part of this system. So he seemed to be in the beginning more of a game player in that sense. I mean, what was that great episode of Twilight Zone where he played the personification of death?
Right.
You know, blonde hair, blue-eyed death.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly made an impression, and I think he kind of goes along with the game for those first few years, but there has to come a point where I think the real Redford finally gets a chance to break out.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, that it's these three films, because
These
again,
three films, starting with
Chase,
Downhill Race.
he's like okay or whatever. Actually, he plays a convict, and it's actually pretty badly cast, but at this point, he can play an outlaw, and it's convincing because he plays an outlaw in his own way. So, I mean,
Well, I just want to say, for the record, all my listeners out there, Great Gatsby would be in there because I like his performance a lot as Gatsby. I just don't like Bruce Dern and Sam Waterston. So I think they ruined Gatsby for me. So it can't be in there in the pantheon of Robert Redford movies. But I think he and Mia Farrow are great. But anyway,
Mia Farrow are a perfect combo in that movie. But I do think then he does find his own voice, and his voice is, I think, he is a uniquely American actor.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting. He brings a level of
70s, those sideburns, those eyes, and those pimples on his face. He brings a set, like, he was the guy all the women wanted. And you look at him and you go, yeah, you know, I always thought him as a good looking guy because he was, but I just was like, what do people see in him? He's not that great, you know, but now I'm looking at like, he really is this force of the 70s. He represents all that's good about what's happening in the 70s.
I was going to say the things that are good and what he really does more so than, because then you have, you know, your weird relationship maybe with Donald Sutherland and his looks in the 70s and whatever. But Robert Redford really pulls off being masculine without being macho. And then you see it way too far over with your Tom Cruises and, you know, when Stallone starts being hyper macho instead of just Rocky masculine. And Robert Redford is just perfect in that, where he can be, again, one of my favorite things is when actors, or in fight scenes, even in movies, where it doesn't seem like fighting is their first choice, but they can do it. Mm-hmm. And Robert Redford really brings that quality to, I think, all these characters.
Well, especially to JJ. Man, I forgot how much crow killing there was.
There's a lot of tussling. Okay, but the scene in 3 Days of the Condor, that apartment fight, which I love. I'm like, he's throwing vases, he's pulling rugs, he's doing,
he's doing what anybody would do in a situation like that.
Right.
Nobody's
He's
using deft karate
surroundings.
moves.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's
None of that crap.
yeah.
It's real. It's and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. I mean,
he's doing half that movie in a sweater. He's doing all these movies in cowboy boots. I just think it's a really interesting way for a guy to express himself, and he has, like it or not, you're with Jane Fonda, like I said on this point, but he is iconic in the sense that it's him coming up with these ideas. It's his physical performance, and it is what he's bringing to it.
Well, it's that presence. I mean,
don't mention Jane Fonda, because I can't help but think of Electric Horseman, which is actually should have been mentioned in my intro of another just horrible piece of crap. And that's Sydney Pollack.
I never did see that.
Sydney, I got this great idea for a movie.
Well, don't even get me started on the trajectory of Sydney Pollack and Robert Redford out of Africa.
Yeah, right. That was another one.
Worse.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Okay, and he takes that masculinity and then it just blows him. It's like this fucking guy and his endless yammering about freedom. Who needs it?
But that great. Well, okay. So starting with the downhill racers, it's like he took the laconic title from Steve McQueen and took it to a whole new level. Because what I notice about Downhill Racer and Jeremiah Johnson, maybe not so much in 3 Days of the Condor, is the man, he doesn't speak unless he has to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time when he's not speaking, you are just drawn into it. It's not like...
Steve McQueen hate him? How come they never made a movie where they're brothers?
I don't know. They could have, because they had that... Maybe they were too...
Well, I know Steve McQueen was pretty insecure. You know? He really was. I know he fought about Paul Newman and everything being... on Towering Inferno. Yeah, these things really mattered to him.
It's all about the money, baby.
Yeah. Well, he was a drunk nightmare, so who cares? But
I'm just mentioning it. Just seems funny because I too thought of Steve McQueen while watching these films. I thought
there is that, but he took it to a level. I mean, a whole new level. I mean, there really is something. It's like, there are people that are just born with a certain strain of talent or quality you just can't teach.
Yeah,
I think Redford is more focused than Steve McQueen, and I like Steve McQueen a lot. I think about. Point. I thought a lot about Junior Bonner, and I was like, Robert Redford could have easily played that, but Junior Bonner is aimless, and Robert Redford doesn't feel aimless. He feels very focused. That's
probably something that he brings. Nobody else could do it. Can you see anybody else in those roles?
No.
I can't.
Not making it. Not without it being dumb.
Maybe Dabney Coleman could have pulled it off at that point.
Really fast. How great is that scene in Downhill Racer where they put the camera on the guy who looks kind of like Robert Redford?
Yeah, that was funny. That was a great scene. Yeah.
I was like, this is good. Anyway,
no, I gotta say, just for the record, we're not talking about performance yet, but I literally was like, "Who the hell's that guy? He looks familiar." And I'm like,
Dabney Coleman.
That's Dabney Coleman. Crazy.
Before the mustache.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Journeyman.
Looking like your rugged coach. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Before he got cursed to a receding hairline and a mustache and just the jerk all the time.
Yeah. But that was a well-cast
cool and tough, and then he becomes like the human personification of Wile E. Coyote. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
There it is.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Anyway. Well, I don't know what. I don't have any questions here. I don't know. They're all good. Like I have no beef. I like Robert Redford in all of them. I mean, my issue is just my shock of how much I just took him for granted. And these three films, I thought,
is it because
it's just the
last 30 years his career was
his heyday, I was a little baby kid.
Sure.
So I didn't understand what was good about him. And then, I liked The Natural a lot because of baseball and everything. And then he just started turning in crap. And it was all, so that's how I always thought of him, was just this big, pompous Hollywood liberal who just didn't, who's just believed his own press. That's how I viewed him for most of my life until Sneakers. There's another one I should have added to the list. Just a dumb piece of crap. Yes. God. So he was just, and for most of my life, that's what he did. He mouthed platitudes, and he was the guy, like the good guy, the good liberal guy. So I didn't know that once upon a time he was actually awesome. And I didn't quite understand it because I only saw these movies in passing. So now with this podcast, I'm looking at them full focus going, yeah, Jeremiah Johnson, I never registered before. Now I'm like, Downhill Racer is darn near flawless in terms of filmmaking and storytelling. Jeremiah Johnson, if I have a beef, it's the 70s era folk songs. It's just, they throw me a little bit out of the movie because I get it because they are, the 70s were after the 60s, which were after the 50s, and folk songs are a thing, But that Downhill Racer just seems like French New Wave hit America, and here's just a great realistic depiction of sports in a way that obviously it wasn't a giant hit or anything because people just probably didn't get it at all. Well, you just won. I don't know. Where's the music?
I was betting him to win anyway.
But you look at it and you go, man, I don't think there's ever been a better sports movie. Honestly, now put that as
you've got Michael Ritchie. I think Michael Ritchie has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, but Michael Ritchie's I should do the What the Hell Happened to Michael Ritchie podcast.
He's hit or miss too.
Because
but Michael
look at
Ritchie,
Fletch Lives. That looks like a TV show.
Yes.
So it's just like, what the hell?
But he gave us the first
He's got the Richard Lester
He gave us
syndrome.
the Bad News Bears. He gave us.
Yeah.
He did The Candidate with Robert.
I know, and I want to see The Candidate. I've never seen it, and I've never seen Shampoo. So I'm at
That's not Peter. That's not Michael Ritchie. That's Hal Ashby.
Oh, that's right.
Shampoo.
That's right.
Must I correct you?
I always forget. I always think it's Michael Ritchie. What else? What did he do in Circus 75, 76? What was Michael Ritchie's big film?
I'm looking now because I know. 76 was Bad News Bears. Oh God, he did The Golden Child. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's 80s. Oh my God, he did The Island. Oh my God. Oh my holy Lord. Oh, he did Semi-Tough with Burt Reynolds.
Right.
Chris Christophers. Oh, he did Smile in 1975.
Oh, that's it. Smile. That's
one of the best satirical. Oh,
yeah, Smile. That's the movie I was thinking of. I always get it confused with Shampoo. Smile.
Yes,
exactly.
Smile. That does have that quality.
Yeah. So,
and that's where Bruce Dern works.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he does in that
role. Bruce Dern's gonna work.
Barbara Feldon. Barbara Feldon of all people, breaking free of her Agent 99 character.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm getting out of
bring
hand.
it back.
Back to Downhill Racer.
But that's the thing about. So it's a Michael Ritchie film, and he's like, this is flawless direction in my opinion. The ski stuff is fantastic. It's thrilling. It's 1969 and it's thrilling. And you're going, wow, this is a really good, well-made film, and it's the competition is palpable. Gene Hackman's great, but without having to be Hoosiers, there's no bullshit in it with coaches. All the pep talks are basically, you suck because you're not a team player.
And again, my favorite thing about it is that last speech he gives him. He's completely morally bankrupt by the end, and that speech didn't even matter in the first place, which I think is hilarious.
I think it was great too, especially when Gene Hackman's big cheesy grin just disappears as there's a potential for loss, and as Dad said, there's millions of them. And it's just
world's full of them.
It's world's full of them.
World's full of them.
Yeah, fleeting. It's just fleeting.
And how he sees himself losing, and you just think his whole team speed. I just think it's so perfect. And again, I like the dueling women in the car scenes. I thought that was really clever and well done and well written. And it was just like.
Great line. I wish I had it in high school.
Any more of that gum? But again, just the fact that he doesn't care. I just like the different circumstances. He doesn't care what's coming out of either one of those women's mouths, but for entirely different reasons.
Right.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Super cool and well done.
What is it? One of the penultimate lines for me is, what was it? He's not a team player. And I think it's Dabney Coleman. Well, it's hardly a team sport.
Not really a team sport.
It's not really a team sport when you think of, which is true. You're not doing relay skiing.
Right.
Pass the baton.
And that's what's so cool too about Robert Redford's performance. He's aloof. He says, and then I see myself in Sports Illustrated, and no one thinks he should say that, even though everyone's 100% thinking that. So yeah, he's a dick, but it's not over the top. So it's interesting. It's just interesting.
And it's not that far from how they were. And American skiers were known for that. You had Billy Kidd. You had Spider Savage. They had that,
What's all this you know about skiing, Alex?
I like skiing.
You would.
Figures. Hot dog the movie.
I haven't been on skis in a few years. Well, hey, you take that
For the record, I have never been skiing in my entire life.
Same here.
I didn't start until late. I didn't start until I moved to Boise.
Oh.
And I was bored, and it was El Nino, and Bogus Basin was like 45 minutes away, and I could go at night. And and I could spend less than $20 on a ticket. It was never crowded, and I learned my craft there on the slopes of Bogus Basin. I fell down a lot, but I got up a lot. No, but I was always fascinated, even when I wasn't skiing. I just thought it was I remember when Franz Klammer won the 76 gold. It was, in the downhill, and those guys are going, 70, 80 miles an hour?
Wow.
On sticks.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely an Olympic ski crew, right? I mean, these guys were this. So it mentions in the credits just how many photographers or cinematographers there were just to capture it all. But they did a phenomenal job. I mean, obviously these guys bested the game, right?
I mean, I've always wanted to know what they were using. If they all had like the handheld Aeroflex or something.
They must have. It must have been 8mm or 16mm or something blown up. Yeah.
I mean, those guys are right behind. So not only do you have your stuntman flying down the hill, you've got the cameraman right there keeping abreast or close enough to get those fantastic shots.
Yeah, no, really good geography of the skiing too. Like you're never confused as to what's happening.
Yeah, no,
that's what I mean about flawless film. Like this film is so well directed.
Yeah,
well, I think what's great. Yeah, even if you don't know anything about skiing, this movie.
I didn't need to. That was the beauty of it. I don't ski.
Well, that was the great thing about the movie too. There's not some giant pain in the ass speech about what skiing really is.
Exactly. Well, you would have it today.
None of that.
Oh no,
for
sure.
If Taylor Sheridan did a ski movie, what's it like being
Taylor Sheridan? Nothing. Robert Redford in his later years. It's something about that white powder. This is the precursor to the Downton Abbey era.
Yes, exactly. And you don't have any of that in these three movies.
I know. That's
Zero.
the point. That's the point.
Zero.
So again, hey everybody out there, when we're saying the 70s are the greatest era for movies, we mean it.
We mean it.
They didn't spoon feed the audience. All you need to know about skiing to understand, oh yeah, this is what they do. You know?
Burgeoning script writers,
watch
these
little
movies.
Ego fights that don't erupt in anything stupid. It's just like little stuff on the team, small tensions, whatever. I think all of that's great.
Yeah, he smashes the guy in the wall, and then the guy blows it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that was,
it's all a confidence thing, Yeah. So I thought, it was, everything was subtle and good, and it's what I want to see in a movie.
Even when he is dropped like a hot potato from the European woman. Yeah. I mean, nowadays it would be something so overwrought and dramatic. It's just,
Well, I loved
gloves.
Her. Great.
Gloves, yes, gloves.
Generic Christmas present, her checking her hair before she goes back in. I was like, that was all awesome.
Yeah.
It was. And why can't they do that?
All the equivalent
and again, look at the parallels to The Natural. With Memo Paris, it's the same thing. It's just way better, And what's that? And I'm just thinking, but The Natural book is there, and it's just funny that there he becomes. The Natural is the beginning of his speechifying and his. And I love The Natural, but I can see that there's a distinct step downward in quality. and in terms of integrity. And The Natural is it's a crowd pleaser, and it does pander. Again,
I
it
mean,
panders in a way that
that's an '80s thing. I mean, is that definitely?
I guess.
Heading into the
But
80s,
I think
the
based on his
indulgences of the
interview, he
80s,
probably
whatever.
didn't see it that way. But I don't know, where did they see it? Like, well, he can't be bad. Who's that? Is that Robert Redford? That's my question. Is that director Robert Redford? Is that ordinary people Robert Redford demanding that he be the guy who's good all the time? And that's the Natural is, even though we're not discussing it, but I've discussed it before in this podcast, but The Natural is pivotal because that's where suddenly he becomes mythic, right? In every movie, the horse, all those movies you rattled off, he's the best. He's just awesome,
Well, and there's no more ambiguity, which in these 3 films, there is ambiguity. I mean, even Jeremiah Johnson, he's doing the right thing, but you get this feeling from him he could probably do the wrong thing too.
Well, right. Look at everything that happens to him in the post helping the religious settlers through the Indian graveyard. Everything that happens is because he didn't follow his intuition.
He didn't do the
yeah.
Correct.
I mean,
But
the
isn't
right
it
thing.
interesting?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. How he begins the '80s.
Yeah.
He begins it with Brubaker.
Right.
Now, you want to talk about the altruistic, all-knowing, the good-hearted, the I speak for the little people.
Yeah.
Even the rapists and sodomites and guys that'll slash your throat for a quarter. They're good people. That to me was like really, because I've never seen the Electric Horseman, thank God.
Well, he begins the 80s technically with that film because that came out Christmas of 79. Christmas of 79.
80 is when you really start to see that shift. I mean, thank God and he takes a 4-year break before doing The Natural.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it's the Redford we all know.
Probably
today.
the money to keep Sundance going, right?
Perhaps.
Like, to be
not
fair,
cheap to,
he was running this massive film festival in its, infancy when it sort of had integrity, But so there's that, I guess. But
I mean, you could speculate forever. I don't know the guy.
No.
But certainly.
But but looking at these 3 films, I mean, let's face it, an artist's work does speak volumes about their life. We've talked about it with Coppola. We've talked about it with look at Al Pacino, for God's sake, or Robert De Niro. We've been talking about this endlessly on this podcast. And Robert Redford, he obviously had an idea, and he clearly chose Sydney Pollack for a reason. And what is it? Is it just too much ice cream at Hollywood parties, and he just lost his edge? I mean, what is it? What the hell is it?
Again, and we've talked a lot about what makes people lose their edge, because watching these 3 films, I think Robert Redford is as much of a titan as Robert De Niro or Al Pacino in their heydays. He's just really different from them. But watching these 3 movies are as brilliant as any movies those guys are in.
Right. But unlike Dustin Hoffman or Robert De Niro or somebody like that, he's like not that they have gimmicks, but Dustin Hoffman obviously was doing great work, right? But you look at him and he's just he's acting his ass off. But Robert Redford is not. Robert Redford's performances are really subtle. He's a movie star who's really good at it. That's what's impressive. Like, he's just so comfortable in his skiing. In his skiing. He's comfortable in his skiing. In his skin.
An underrated virtue.
But in his skin, you just go, okay, this guy's really good at what has to come out on film as a movie star. And that's actually harder in a way than, being Ratso Rizzo in a sense. Because you look at him, you go, boring guy with blonde hair and sideburns, which is kind of how I dismissed him.
It's okay. It's like, your analogy of the ball hogs.
Yeah.
The actors and actresses. And there was none of that in Redford in those days.
Look, I say
he's
really good.
Look how
giving he is to Faye Dunaway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or he's giving to Gene Hackman in his way. He doesn't get in anybody's way for sure. You don't get the sense
he
of
doesn't. No.
I'm the star, and in Jeremiah Johnson.
Even in Jeremiah Johnson,
he's like
who's the fellow? I'm sorry. Say his last name, Gierasch or
Stefan Gierasch. I said Gierasch.
Yeah.
I probably
who was
bungled
always one of those underrated character actors who always made me laugh or always made me sit up.
Yeah.
In everything he did. I remember him as the Weasley mayor in High Plains Drifter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
But he was so good. Even in that, what was it? What's up, Doc?
Right.
You roll your eyes. That's okay.
Yeah.
He plays the German hotel manager, and his scenes with Sorrel Brook, Boss Hogg, are hilarious in that. I mean, he was one of those.
Get back on. What's your point?
But the fact that Robert Redford probably recognizes what this guy's capable of, feeds him the lines that he needs, and Del Jew's character is one of those bigger-than-life characters.
Yeah.
And I think, but without the stability of a Robert Redford character, it probably would have been all over the place.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but you do see Robert Redford not trying to do anything to ham it up or make it funnier. It's just naturally funny because the guy's so good, and Robert Redford stays out of his way. You know,
when he has to be, when he has
to be.
Bud
This
Abbott.
Thing that Robert Redford is this movie star that doesn't, in these three films, that weirdly doesn't make it about him.
Right.
It seems almost incidental. These are these things that are happening to him. And something about Robert Redford's performances make it seem like they're a surprise even to him. He surprises even himself. Like that's an interesting, his quietness also gives way to kind of a spontaneity because he's so quiet. You're not quite sure how this will go. And that gives him an edge. And that's a really satisfying thing to watch as a viewer. Yeah. And part of it is how he responds to everyone else in these films.
Yeah. And he is the headliner in all three films, correct? I mean, he is.
Yeah.
We
showed
this,
I didn't get into the Sting or Butch and Sundance because he is a team player, and those do seem like duo movies. So it didn't. I don't see. I mean, obviously they're Robert Redford movies, but they are of a thing. The Paul Newman team ups and even
all the President's Men.
Yeah, and that's another one. But even 3 Days of the Condor, it's almost veers into, even though he's the star, it almost feels like Faye Dunaway does a lot of the heavy lifting, because he does have that quality where he sort of steps aside and lets them do their thing.
Yeah, Gina, I think about you saying that, like, whatever, Adam Sandler didn't ever seem like he knew why he was funny.
Yeah.
And Robert Redford is the opposite of that. Like, he knows exactly why he's a movie star.
Right.
Or exactly what makes him a movie star. And so the way he uses it, ends up being pretty compelling. Like, that kind of self-knowledge does translate really interestingly in that 70s era of his career. And I don't know if no one gave a shit after that. I don't know. Like, were people just not making those movies anymore? Should we get into these movies? Do we get into them? Do we stop talking around Redford and get into these movies, or what do we do?
Sure. Let's get into
I don't
them.
know.
I got an idea. Let's talk about the movies.
Start us off, Roseanne. Why is Jeremiah Johnson your favorite Robert Redford film?
Well, also, it's probably one of my favorite films of all time, just because I want to make this movie, and then I'll get into the Redfordness of it all, but it reminds me of Walkabout. It's like an American Walkabout to me, in a way.
Good point.
And it makes me feel kind of like those same feelings of like humans and nature and what that means. Anyway, so I think because of that, it's my favorite of the three, just because of those themes. And again, it has this distinct, I love Westerns. So it has, and that's the other thing. Each of these films could easily be a genre film with a movie star, a sports movie, a spy movie, and a Western. And none of them are. And I think that's not entirely Robert Redford, but the lion's share of the credit goes to Robert Redford, I think. And I mean, amazing stuff by the directors too, and everybody else. But so I just think Jeremiah Johnson, it just has the story that I'm most drawn to, and a wintry silence that I just can't.
When you live in Eastern Oregon in the winter, it's you can relate. I was musing about were mountain men just hippies of their time? Like these just nonconformist weirdos? Is that what they are? Is that what
They're super weirdos. And again, so if people look at the beginning of hippies, and if you could trace it back to the Beat Generation, more like that. I like the fact that they, yeah, you're done with this war. Now what the fuck do? You have like a limited skill set.
Will Gear and Delle, what's his name? What's his last name?
Jew with an E.
Right.
They're weirdos.
They're definitely weirdos.
and they say, then ain't no mountain man. Mountain man ain't no life for so they're talking about mountain men as a genre.
Sure.
So these are a group of people that sort of are renowned for being screwballs, right?
Well, so you would have to. First of all, you're alone a lot.
Right.
Yes, you are.
And so that.
But
isn't this asking? I mean,
well,
I do need a mountain man survival book because I want to know how to build that log cabin.
First of all,
I think like all these guys.
Another reason I love that film is that log cabin scene. Can I just say?
It's this mud, and I said to Dante, my son, how do you know it's the clay that's going to seal the way? Knowing me, I'd pick dirty, dusty clay, and it just all falls apart. How do you know?
With hay and creating texture, I'm like, damn it, this is just some smart stuff. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't know if maybe the mountain men were just the zeitgeist of the American spirit at that time, that westward expansion. And it's like, what better place to be be on the fringe? Exactly, right. Because sensible people will not go beyond the Mississippi River because there are men that stand 10 feet tall, if not a foot, that will eat you alive and, spit your bones out and build a cave or whatever. But these are the men, and even some of the women that were, I've got to see it for myself. I think of even Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves. I want to see the West before it.
It's funny you just mentioned that because I thought of Horizon. I know Roseanne doesn't want to bring this into our Redford discussion, but I thought of Horizon, and I just thought of the pat simplicity of the Indian attacks, and nobody's gone crazy. Whereas in Jeremiah Johnson, the craziness is all around him. And that woman is gone.
Yeah.
And he says, you're fine because you're touched.
Because you're touched.
Yeah.
They're not going to
leave you alone.
Yeah.
And I thought that's an element of reality and harshness that maybe Costner is chickening away from, and we're all chickening away from.
I think so. Well, that's one of the best depictions of trauma I have seen on cinema. Yeah. And there's nothing said.
Right.
You can't say anything about it. It's just the fact that she says nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, when she gives you that look, you really feel like this, there is no coming back.
Yep.
For this poor
woman.
And
the silence of her son. And again, what an amazing thing. He doesn't say a word. And when he dies, I miss him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that he's noticed. He is a presence. I mean, even Del Jew, he don't say much, does he? But you're aware of him. Yeah. And even that scene when they go to attack with Del Jew and the kid grasps on to Jeremiah Johnson. I mean, you
beautiful
feel
scene.
that.
Yeah, I really, I kind of choked up a little bit thinking that. Like that's a good movie. That's what I mean about the
without these sweeping platitudes. Now let me tell you about a mountain man.
No, you don't want to get into this yet because we're focusing on the movie. But what the hell happened to Sydney Pollack?
Yeah.
It's just like you look at your Electric Horseman and you're the Firm, and you go, what the hell? Like, look at this movie, which is
Paul Thomas Anderson and One Battle After Another.
Okay, but that's
I know.
That's not out of Africa.
It's not as bad.
That's not the big swing and miss that Electric Horseman is.
It could start moving.
No, I got it. But Electric Horseman just goes from he's here and then he just falls off a cliff.
I don't know. Must have been a divorce settlement or somebody had the goods on him.
Let's stay on the movies. Let's stay on the movies that are. I think I do think we've tackled Downhill Racer. I mean, in terms of, let's finish up with Jeremiah Johnson. What I don't believe I forgot. I don't believe I'm just shocked at myself for forgetting just all that razzle dazzle, hell's a poppin', scene after scene, crow killing action, which is just like, this is almost comedy. They're just coming out of everywhere.
Oh no. But what's great about this movie? It is like the idea of how a myth is built up.
Yeah,
Sure.
In a way, because you start with this guy that I've seen my share of killing, and I just want to go out. I want to be a mountain man, and you just, certain things in your life you can't escape, I guess.
Yeah.
But
it's
how the legend builds.
All
that
that
pivotal
killing
place.
is all hinges on his, like,
the choice that he made.
The choice he makes to stay with the world that he left, right? To sort of like, here these guys are, these bumblers. But Will Geer takes a chance on him, so I guess that's, I'm trying to reason the psychological or the psychology of his character. You're thinking, okay, he's trying to do the right thing, but you can see it in him. He knows that it's bad news, and you feel it,
You feel he doesn't want to leave. You feel he knows it's the wrong way to go. It's such a great performance on his part. Just that feeling you get of just like, this was wrong. And he knows automatically, that it's almost like he's not surprised when he comes back and they're dead.
Right.
But, I don't know why for me, and maybe just the brilliance of this movie, but that scene when they're playing sort of, I guess, their version of lacrosse or field hockey.
Yeah.
And I just can't help but I had that sense of dread. This is not going to last.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the circumstances and the environment, it's possible. And I think it had to pan out that way, because if it would have turned out happy, then I probably would have felt cheated.
Yeah.
Because coming back, I wouldn't say there was a catharsis or a release, but it was inevitable. But this is just one more thing that's going to sharpen him or build on the myth or drive him further into the mountains. I mean,
well, that's how you know a story is well written.
Yeah.
That's what good writing is supposed to do.
Because it engages
I did flash forward
us.
to Braveheart, going, this is very similar in terms of the legend grows, but Braveheart's hokey.
Well, that's it. And what I love is when he sees Bear Claw after however long of a period, and even Del Jew, and they both sort of report on, a lot has been said about you, it's there, even if you're out isolated in the mountains. The wind carries your name,
right?
my brother.
And that's
it
again,
literally
in that
does.
Weird screwball world that they all talk.
It is.
And I just thought that was funny.
That I mean,
well,
it's
it was really
how about Will Geer? I just love that Will Geer's life turns to shit and he's totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it's gonna be,
And that is hippies. God, that is a hippie
I guess
thing,
it is.
Okay,
Del Jew.
When hippies were like competent, remember when hippies weren't just dipshits without jobs? They were people who just were living an alternate lifestyle.
Well, because they really did believe in Walden's Pond. I mean, maybe that's what it was.
There was an ideal, and
it was an ideal.
I don't mean it romantically, but I just mean there was a lot more competence going into their organic gardening. You know what I mean?
It's funny.
And so I do just like the fact that he's like, yep. The cabin's gone, whatever.
In an avalanche. You're like, wait, you just got taken by an avalanche, and that's that.
Well, there goes my leg, but I got a spare.
There is something to be said about that matter-of-fact American can-do spirit.
The first time he runs into Del Jew, buried up to his neck left for dead. No, I got a fine horse underneath me.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Mormons, I'll tell you that.
Oh my God.
Homespun witticism's done right.
No, it's
and
all
comic relief when you needed it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's not a gimmick. It was.
It's
what an impeccable movie.
That's what I'm saying. So again,
Laughing
that's why
when we need to.
Downhill Racer in this film are nose to nose, and I'm like, it's hard to know. I can't quite decide which is better. I would say Jeremiah Johnson is the more fuller experience. It's the more fuller cinematic experience in Downhill Racer, but Downhill Racer is still a smorgasbord of great filmmaking.
It is.
You know?
But that's the beauty. We can go back to these movies over and over, and we will probably never get bored.
Yeah.
Well, and
There's
I
always
think
going to be
that,
something.
and I think I'll keep watching them and think like, well, maybe this one's better, or maybe this one edges this one out. I mean, certainly at this point in my life, it's Jeremiah Johnson, but another pleasure of these three movies is it could be any one of them, and I will feel great about all of them.
Well, let's dig into 3 Days of the Condor, because I didn't love the movie when I first saw it. I'm actually growing in appreciation for it. So I was a little, and I only saw it maybe 2 years ago, and I went, that's kind of a downbeat 70s. All right, well, I expected big. I don't know what I expected, but I expected Sunday Bloody Sunday or something, or I don't know. I expected some sort of what's the one with the blimp? Is that Sunday Bloody Sunday? No, Sunday Bloody Sunday's the
Sunday Bloody Sunday is another movie.
You're talking about Black.
Yeah, no, what's
You're
Black
talking
Sunday?
about Black Sunday.
Black Sunday.
Yeah, Black Sunday.
So,
There's your conspiracy.
Sorry, Sunday Bloody Sunday, of course.
We've been confusing us all this time.
Yeah. Black Sunday. I just expected this sort of, or what's the other one? The Jackal.
Which one? The original.
The original. Yeah. Day of the Jackal.
Yeah, the Day of the Jackal.
I always sort of confused in my mind that I knew 3 Days of the Condor was this sort of quintessential 70s movie, but I hadn't really seen it.
Yeah, but they're different movies, though.
Absolutely. So I've just
3 Days of the Jackal really is more of an action movie.
Absolutely.
In a way.
So I'm just explaining why I went into it. Just like this is.
Is it called 3 Days of the Jackal? Does anyone know what the hell any of these films are called?
It's called Day of the Jackal.
Day of the Jackal.
Confusing because you have 3 Days of the Condor and Day of the Jackal.
Which was 6 Days of the Condor in the novel.
A nod to my dear departed father.
They had to cut out 3 days.
Saving Von Ryan's Express. Anyway, but I think settling down and this time watching it with definitely less of an entertainment perspective and more of a film history. Suddenly, I just enjoyed the movie more. Like I savored your Max von Sydow's. I still like the first time I saw. I had a huge problem with Faye Dunaway just basically sleeping with her kidnapper, and I'm like, what? That's 70s for sure. I kind of grapple with it a little bit. I'd say second time through, I bought it a little more. I wasn't as put off by it. I thought, well, I guess, given his earnest
performance, he's super earnest, and she's also giving this really interesting performance where she is grappling with it herself. Right. And so that always makes something more believable because she's not just like, yeah, you're the, and all of a sudden she becomes his sidekick.
Right.
She does.
No, but there is that sense. She does have a sense of daring do about herself.
She does.
I think it's funny. She's supposed to be going skiing.
Right.
Yes.
Again, I don't know if there's a connection there, but this is a woman.
Skiing these people, but also she's an artist, and I like all the things I like their
the
little
photos
conversations about things in the autumn or whatever, and
I like them.
Yeah, and I like at the end when she says you have a good pair of eyes. I could use a pair of eyes like that. And I'm just like, they do like they like the right things about each other. And so then I was thinking at the beginning, sorry, and I know we're not talking about this, but Out of Sight, of course, is saying he brings up 3 Days of the Condor when they're in the trunk. And Jennifer Lopez is like, yeah, I never liked that, how they fell in love so quickly. Of course, of course they fell in love, because that's obviously the theme of Out of Sight.
Right.
But I just think, yeah, they do, you do make those connections with people, and they do enough writing and good acting where I do think it works.
I think so. I think I grappled with it the first time. I dismissed it. The second time I grappled with it. I hearing you, I think, yeah. I mean, Faye Dunaway, like I said, she does a lot of the heavy lifting because she has to make that work. Otherwise, it's just stupid.
Otherwise, it'd be dumb. And she makes it again. Yeah. Give it up to Faye Dunaway.
I am. We got to do our tribute to her because she had a run of films at that point where she was a killer.
For sure. And that's one of them. I was just plenty of people would be lost in that part. And Faye Dunaway is such a presence, and she makes that part work, making the film way better.
Yeah.
And the realization that she was one of the most beautiful women in cinema at that time.
Sure.
I mean, you talk about how a camera can love someone.
Yeah.
Well,
you
and
know,
she and
and she
Robert
has
Redford make a
the
compelling
same
couple.
thing. Yes, the same thing that Redford has. You just can't teach that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, again,
They just got it.
There
They
is,
got it.
and she's playing Joan Crawford, but she does have a classical face, right? She does have this sort of face the camera loves, and you look at her. She's she's not gorgeous, but she's interesting, you know.
Those eyes, something about
so
the
she
eyes,
does have this sort of, gosh, she really just holds the screen really well. It just naturally, and I do study that, and I look at people, especially actors, movie stars, like, why? I get it, because she does walk on, and you're immediately interested in her, and that's not,
Well, it's whatever Garbo
not
had.
sneakers.
It's whatever
Jennifer
Marlena
Beal.
Dietrich.
Or,
Hey, you take that back. No, I kid.
I just
leg warmers though. Come on.
Right. Anyway, that's Jennifer. Well, I
Beal.
guess she's Beal. Yeah. Anyway, I just think that it works. I think if that's the one thing you're getting tied up on, I think.
But what really hit home the second time around was Max von Sydow and Cliff Robertson, and now just taking it like with knowing okay, it is a precursor to all the films we saw about the man in charge and us, whether it's The Conversation or any of those films that we, like from that era, Stepford Wives even, I'm thinking, okay, this is a landmark. It holds true today. It's all good. It's still all the things we're still talking about. Especially kind of laughingly going, the New York Times. Yeah, of course they're going to print it. Oh yeah, they'll print it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll print it.
And again, Redford's face of just like this could end badly.
Yeah.
It could end badly.
What if they don't print it?
Yeah, what if they don't print it? And again,
and what a great way to end the movie
too, in terms of
the
unsettled, this realization that all of my work was for nothing, and the absurdity of all of this.
But it's also this world that's created in that even within the shadow agencies, there are deeper shadow agencies, so no one can really trust anybody.
And it was all fiction, right? That was all because of everything that he put together. They were just like,
together.
All right, it could happen. So we got to deal with this.
It could happen.
But also,
who do you trust?
What a great world they created in his little office.
Yeah.
I just loved that. I loved his girlfriend. I loved their boss.
The banter.
Yeah, I just loved all of it, and the fact that
I'm a sucker for sandwich runs.
Oh yeah,
runs and real dialogue
and a great New York deli.
That was real sandwich making.
I know.
And apparently that deli is still there today.
I believe it.
The candy shop or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
it's still there.
But I loved that world, and I loved the pace of it. I was just like, that really was brilliantly done. I was like, Sydney Pollack, you win. It was.
And again, what a movie that has nothing extraneous about it.
Sure. Yeah.
There is no fat on this movie.
No.
And boy, I love it when, you gotta love a movie that just starts, it might start off a little slowly, but once, But
it's a good slow, Alex.
It is a good. No, I'm not saying it's bad. Yeah. It does. It pulls you in because, you first you have this little world, the office shenanigans and the politics and the banter and everyone trusts, everyone is so comfortable with everyone.
The comfort of
the comfort of it, and then it's all just taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And how then you're really pulled in, and now it just, I guess they'd say, it crackles, it's taut, it's.
But look at just that world with the girl with the gun, and James Cameron takes it in True Lies, the old one with the gun, and it's like that's a pretty jarring image, even still, she had a gun because she was afraid of getting raped. I'm like, oh, really?
Right.
I just thought she was issued a gun.
No.
Well, definitely more 70s New York, but
and despite, the amount of security, you still can't trust anybody.
Right.
You just don't know. I mean, he's got to come in and give his identification, my name, Turner Joe, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Make sure it's you. I mean, no, there's, anyway, I don't know where screenwriters or filmmakers got lost. We're talking about where did Redford get lost, but where did most of today's filmmakers get lost when they can't trust themselves to make
Well, it's partly
a
the
movie
audience.
like this?
I'm gonna,
You think so?
I
I
do.
mean,
I
but
do. It's tastes in the audience, and I think
suppose.
I think the quality of education was obviously better in the 70s.
Yeah.
Maybe
You know,
so.
maybe not
because,
the
I mean,
quantity, but the quality. The quality
but
of
I'm like
education
you.
was higher.
Okay, but I'm like you, sitting through something like the latest Downton Abbey. Why does everything, just eat the goddamn pie? Hey, this pie is good. Yeah, it sure is. Okay, that's all I need.
Yeah.
And again, I have to bring up Taylor Sheridan, all of his shows, everything. No one can just say, "Oh, it's a damn good job." Everything has to be a proclamation. Everything has to be some big
Did
sweeping
Taylor Sheridan
speech.
do Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Right.
that's his big thing, but he's everywhere now. You want
Well,
to talk
he
about
did Hell or High
oversaturated.
Water. He wants. I mean, it must be.
And he did
And
Wind
see,
River, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did miss. Yeah, he did Wind River.
Yeah, a film I really like.
He has the potential,
Yeah.
but it's so much. I mean, right now, just all of these shows and all of the spin-offs of Yellowstone, it's just dreadful.
Well,
It's
getting back to our man Robert Redford,
Anyway.
and this is what I said earlier. There was a better time for filmmakers because these movies were made for adults,
Mhm.
and that's what stopped. I think that's what stopped. Is movies made for adults are not that clever today. I mean, if Downton Abbey is what's considered adult fare, we're screwed. I mean, that's for idiots. Like, I'm sorry, these movies. And my wife kept shutting me up, but I'm like, this is terrible. How can we sit through this? And I'm gonna point to the 70s and say, look at 3 Days of the Condor, or that's how you tell a story. Now you say, oh, that's your taste. Okay, fine, it is our taste, but I can't stand, so you just want ketchup on your steak, I guess,
Oh, let me tell you about steak.
Your litmus test
I'm
for
sorry.
idiots. But I do think maybe then we could take it could be said, I'm not saying it is, but potentially that some of the onus is off Robert Redford. I'm just like, well, they weren't wanting films the way he wanted films made anymore. So he had
Sundance
to run. So,
Sure.
So maybe, yeah.
And maybe that was him kind of giving back in that way. Like, okay,
Maybe.
the things that I did that were exciting, the independent voices, the new creative ideas.
Well, you can't say it didn't give
But he
films
also directed
opportunities.
the Legend of Bagger Vance. He
I
chose
know.
to make
Well,
that. And
okay,
that's
yeah.
a
No, he
piece of
did not.
crap.
No, yeah. He
Well,
did
I've
not
never
have
seen
to
it,
do
thank
that.
goodness.
It's
I saw the previews, and that was enough for me.
Ghastly.
But I mean, even what was the one he did with John Turturro and Ray Fiennes about the
Quiz
the
show.
ga-
It's not
Quiz
good.
show.
That
No.
that could have been good, but that was a classic case of blundering with your cast. And what's his face, Rob Morrow was just
with that
not up
awful.
to. He was not up to.
It was like
you're
every
not up-
other actor
yeah.
doing a terrible Kennedy accent.
But-
Oh yeah, sure.
But
He was out of his
unlike
element.
his mentor Sydney Pollack or something in the 70s, he's explaining what's wrong. I thought television was. I was
Yeah.
against television, but turns out television got us. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? What the hell movie is
Well,
this? But again, Paul Schofield.
But the only
highlight.
Paul Schofield, exactly.
Highlight in that film.
You got to
So
wait
he-
for the middle of the film.
he got something right. But anyway, I don't know. Look, we don't know the guy. We were not friends with. We weren't friends with him.
Like I said, I'm
No.
just saying the only reason I even took it back to that question was just because, well, again, I just think 3 Days of the Condor is potentially, it's a simple enough story done just beautifully and intelligently well. All these films are so well written that I forgot actually forget that movies can be well written.
Yeah. But it's simple, as I always say. It's a simple story. It's just
Right.
the
All of them.
filmmaking tells the story. Dummies. The scene in the apartment, when he's in the elevator with Von Sydow, is
Oh my
very
God,
tense.
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
so tense, and
And I
it's,
love
and
that he
it's,
gets out of it using those kids, and I love.
Yes.
I have to say, the thing that's great too is the details of this character seem like a guy who has read a lot of books. and who is figuring it out as he goes along, but just because he's drawing from all these things, and he never says that once.
Yeah.
Well, and
he's read everything. That's it.
Math. This is science, people. You know,
Right.
this is what we're like. Oh.
Right.
Yeah, and parenthetically, I just watched the Fantastic Four again, and it takes place in the 60s, and Johnny Storm says, yeah, I can quote big, important guy stuff, too, or I can quote history, too, and I went, they wouldn't say that in the 60s, you dummies. They wouldn't call attention. You know why? Because everybody knew history in the 60s.
Yeah, I was like, because they made you memorize that shit in the 60s.
Yeah, it's just so stupid. And there is the difference now.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that's what we've run into. And you look at Three Doors of the Condor. There's the world is set up. I don't need to know anymore. I don't need them explain anymore. The movie's perfectly explained.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
And that great scene with when Von Sydow shoots the rich guy, and it's a shocker.
Yeah.
You know.
And again, they even have dialogue, and one of my favorite new lines. You got any more of that gum? And I have Robert Redford. My new line about patriotism, which is just like, I was born in the U.S. When I'm away from it for too long, I miss it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a great line.
Yeah.
And it says all these things about just like why he fought so hard in that sweater this whole time. I just thought it was awesome.
Well,
Next
I don't think
response is equally awesome. He's like, ashamed.
Ashamed.
Sydow. Anyway,
Sydow, one of those. I think it's interesting that Joe Turner is really not that many degrees removed from Jeremiah Johnson, just in terms of resourcefulness. And I think just an awareness of everything around you, you know, and you are in an environment, even if it is 1970s technology and you know, all the modern trappings of a comfortable life, you still have to know your environment. Like that scene when he goes, "Hey, anybody want to make $5?"
That's what I'm saying. I love
and
that.
That great moment. And I think also that turning point for Max van Sydow, because I think there is that grudging respect.
Right.
It's like,
that,
you know, this guy's good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not up against some little, you know, pencil pusher.
Right.
This guy's more than that.
Yeah.
So,
And their relationship isn't too speechified or anything. I love that.
But it's
not
earned,
contrived.
And it's earned.
You know, you think, well, okay.
He brought me up at the station, and but he warns him about what'll happen, and I just thought.
But there's still that uncertainty. Yeah. Even after that, can I give you a ride?
Can I give you a ride?
You know.
I thought all of that was just great, and just so and beyond that, like, cool.
Well, even that whole thing about, you know, I'm back in the game, Max van Sydow. Yeah, I'm back with the company. Yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah.
There's no allegiance. It's, you know, you follow the dollar. You follow.
Yeah.
You follow your, you know, you stay in your lane.
Yep.
That's what it means.
Again, just a really well-written, confidently directed, beautifully acted film.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Probably the best thing that Sydney Pollack's ever done.
Except for Jeremiah Johnson.
Except for I'm sorry. Right. I take it back. Yes. Yeah. So he had a good run. And
definitely. All right. So, do we get into comparing the performances of Redford in the three films? I mean, they all.
Well, I think of all three films, Robert Redford was the best.
Yeah. I gotta go Downhill Racer. I'm sorry, Roseanne. I like Jeremiah Johnson, but Downhill Racer is such a surprise. It's how effortless and without any acting and now any like show offy, like, you know, oh, look how mean I'm playing it. He seems completely at home being an asshole. As you say, grabbing the sandwich with his skis on the train. You know, he just does all of it physically and with his facial tics.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You say there's not a lot of good eating in films, but I think Robert Redford does seem to understand that eating is really important for characters because he does some good eating.
Yeah,
he does some good running.
He does some good running
in 3 Days of the Condor.
Yeah. 3 Days of the Condor. He's eating that pretzel. He's really eating that pretzel. He's making it happen.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. So the reason I bring that in, not just because I'm a person who loves pretzels, but because I'm just like, he is a movie star who does have these elements of naturalism. It's true.
Well, and I was watching Paul Giamatti last night on Turner Classic Movies,
I was like,
and he was talking about it was not Redford, but it was a scene where the actor is on the phone. He goes, "That's some good phone acting." And he goes, "That's almost as good as Redford."
yeah,
He goes, "Redford is one of the best phone actors."
Yeah.
And they show 3 Days of the Condor. It's like, that is not easy.
I
phone
was
acting.
thinking that he does. I was actually thinking Robert Redford, and I was not thinking about 3 Days of the Condor. I was thinking about Downhill Racer. I
Great
thought he's doing really good acting on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Not at all.
Well, do you want to get into who's your favorite supporting player? Is it Gene Hackman? Is it Will Geer? Is it what's her face? What's her name? The actress? I listed her and then forget her.
Oh gosh,
You don't mean
Delle
Faye Dunaway?
Bolton? What's her name? Is it Delle Bolton?
No. It was something.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Isn't it?
Where is it?
About her?
Where is it?
Delle
Oh,
Bolton.
where-
Yeah, I remembered. Delle Bolton.
Wait, I think you're right. Yes, I'm thinking of something.
From Jeremiah Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's yes, yeah. That was her first, one of her only roles, really. I think.
She was great.
Yeah.
I like
And
she's
again-
Catholic and that there's not a ton made of it.
No,
she's just
with the fact,
French,
oh yeah, they're
French
Christian, they are.
speaking Catholic, Flathead Indian tribe. It all works really well.
So
Like
specific. I was just like, that world is so specific, and
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
I loved that. I just loved it, and
I don't need that religious stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's all mountain men, hippies.
sure. But again, sorry, their love story growing. It's one of my favorite love stories.
Yeah.
Just trying to, when she's fitting him for his stupid buffalo robe or whatever, and he's speaking to her in Flathead, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
that's the best.
it's
That's
great,
great
and
Well, and just how it
Tragic
comes to sort of
loss.
through,
Yeah.
the fruition in the.
you got
the
people
field
don't
hockey
realize
game
it.
or
You
whatever
have
that
to have
was.
loss in movies. You just have
Yeah.
you have to make those love affairs seem fleeting. I obviously you can't do it in a rom-com, but it just seems like it's always better when it's fleeting and it feels like if only it could have lasted.
Well, Alex, I think you said it when they're playing whatever, lacrosse or whatever, and how you get that feeling. It's almost because of their complete happiness that it won't last long.
Right.
And it just adds to the depth of the film. And then his crazy, just like endless fight against one crow.
Yes,
Well, them just
crow
jumping out
fighting.
of the bushes at all times just seemed kind of like, this is pretty cool. I forgot about this. I
Yeah.
can't believe I forgot it, but
Well, and the idea that you
Well,
don't
I
really
would-
have time to mourn in the woods,
Right.
No,
Yeah.
no.
because you don't know when the woods is going to kill you.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
for
you could
sure.
you could just hear Del Jew. Well, mourn when you can, but they're going to be coming for you.
right.
But okay,
Is
so I
that
would say
obviously, Alex? You're gonna say Del Jew's your favorite?
Yes, Stephen Gierasch. Yes. Yeah.
Out of all,
And
more than Gene Hackman.
Yes.
more than Faye Dunaway.
Well, I'm not talking about females. I'm talking about males.
No, I just mean supporting player. It could have been. It could have
supporting
been.
players. Well, yeah. You know.
I don't know if Faye Dunaway.
I mean, I'm going to give credit to Stephen Gierasch because that could have been one of those roles that got out of hand. You know, you want
Sure.
to talk about showboat actors today.
Yeah.
Boy, what if that was Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
or Jack Black?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy, we'd never hear the end of it. No, but now that I think about it, yes, Faye Dunaway did a lot of heavy lifting, but never having to draw attention to it because, again, like Redford, she is just there. She is present.
But I
still
you don't have
think
to be. You
that's-
don't have to twist your arm. I'm gonna go with Del. I'm gonna go with
No,
Stefan
because
Gierasch.
I just thought
I think he was really a super strong supporting player.
he is a strong player, but one of the scenes that I just forget about, but one of the scenes that really kind of got my hair standing on end in 3 Days of the Condor is when he takes her into the bedroom, lay down like this, put your arm up like this, and that look of fear on her face.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you try to move, I'll know.
Mhm.
And it is a frightening scene because we don't know at that moment. It's like, you know, I'd just as much shoot you as rape you, which,
Right.
thank God it didn't happen that way. But
Well, and they're
just the
playing off
idea.
each other's fear too. He's afraid he's never done this. She's in this. I was just like,
she's
what a
never
cool
done this.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought they're so good together.
Well, in an interesting note, I guess when that scene was being done, Faye Dunaway said, I would never fear somebody like Robert Redford. He was just, everything about him, he was just too nice. But I rehearsed the scene with Sydney Pollack. And he came out with things that just put the fear of God in me. She didn't say what he did, but it was like, this is what I'm going to do to you.
He probably showed up in his tank top. The one that he wore in Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, I never saw that, so don't get me wrong. I don't know. I can't say, but apparently that's what she took into that scene. But that is a great scene. I mean, that really just has that paranoia, that tension. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go with Stefan Gierasch.
Well, I still love Stefan Gierasch.
Yeah.
I do.
I actually, and I like Will Geer too. I thought Will Geer was great.
Yeah, it takes the bad taste of 8 is enough out of my mouth. So
the Waltons.
The Waltons. Wait. Well, no, he did show up in 8 is enough.
Oh, right.
Like when Nicholas runs away.
Right.
And
to
they
be
hit
replaced
the
by
streets
Jack Elam when Will Geer died.
Oh, Jack Elam, the Lord love him.
Yeah, what do you got against Jack Elam anyway?
I want to make a plug for my main man, Gene Hackman, who I thought was great. And
He is. But I'd say Gene Hackman, I think, he gets his moments, but he really does take a back seat to Robert Redford in that movie.
Well, and he does say it. He complained about that role. He felt like, I'm just playing supporting actor to this guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's
you were.
Yep.
You were.
Yep.
You were.
Got it.
You did a great job, Gene. Thanks.
You did a fine job. Actually, you did.
I'm finding out Gene Hackman was a prickly SOB, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently he got really
ask
mad
Wes
if
Anderson.
you didn't know your lines. He was
Oh, yeah?
he was a true professional. Anyway, all right. Well, so the best directing job went to Sydney Pollack for, say it, Roseanne?
Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, though. He did a great job with 3 Days of the Condor.
He did. But Jeremiah Johnson is
but Michael Ritchie, boy. That's tough.
That's why you've got to do a segment on Michael Ritchie. And again, like, what the hell happened? Because the guy certainly was hitting home runs when he had the chance.
Downhill Racer. Yeah, that, like I said, flawless. They're both, all 3 are flawlessly directed.
Yeah. They are.
So I guess it wins. Sydney Pollack wins for just bringing an emotional. See, I don't think Downhill Racer is as emotional as Jeremiah Johnson. It's not as an emotional experience.
Downhill
That's
Racer
the word I'm looking for.
Is fine, but Jeremiah Johnson manages to be emotional without being stupid, which I think is really.
Well, there's nothing mawkish about it.
No, not at all.
No,
so
at
I
all.
think that's more difficult.
Yeah.
And so I have to give it to Sydney Pollack for that.
Same. Okay, well, we're out of time, folks.
Anyways, pour one out for Robert Redford.
So these are 3 enthusiastic recommendations to anybody and everyone who will listen, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you love movies, you would have these in your canon.
Correct.
Your collection.
Correct.
In some way.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. I'm not going to make any pitches. Agree with me or not, what do I care? I'm like a young Robert Redford. I just want those medals and that money. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Fabulous Film and Friends. Copyright 2025, a Bel Air Films production.